Hello, everyone. This is Brother Benson Media, and I'm joined with two of my brothers, Migoda and Makobura. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening, bro. How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. What about yourself?
We are doing also fine. I personally am doing fine. What
Mm.
about Makobura?
Okay, good evening. I'm also doing good. I thank God. I hope you guys are also doing okay.
Mhm.
Santeni sana.
Karibu sana. Leo ni Friday na Friday kama kawa, kuna wale ambao labda wanaenda kupiga sherehe kurudishia mwili asante. Sijui kwenyu vipi? Kuna mtu amepanga kwenda kupigilia labda kupigia mwili asante kwa kazi ambayo amefanya kwa wiki?
Wanasemanga kupigia mwili pole.
Oh, pole. Si asante. Kwani tofauti iko wapi? Pole na asante.
Pole ni mtu ambaye mwili imeumia wiki mzima
Mm.
ikitafuta riziki. Unaenda kuipigia pole, kuipumzisha.
Eh,
Na kuipigia asante pia inalinganisha na venye unaisema, lakini si tulijua kwamba baada ya kuumia wiki moja,
eh,
unaenda chukua siku moja, unaenda kupigia mwili yako pole
eh.
na mpoosha. Lakini mimi naye siendi kupigia mwili pole kama kawaida, unaelewa story.
Ap-
Sisi
la-
ni wanasabato,
no, we ni mtu wa Sabbath, mtu wa Adventistia ama Adventista.
Adventista.
Ah, si asante na pole nadhani ni sahihi kulingana na ah, mwenye atakuwa anaiongelea, kwa sababu pia unaweza sema kwamba naenda kupigia mwili yangu asante. Kwa sababu gani? Labda nilikuwa nimefanya kazi, wacha niende nipumzike, nipigie asante. Unajua, unaipatia tuseme kwamba zawadi kidogo, unaona mwili asante. Kama wewe ni mtu wa kupiga zile matikila, unafanya hivyo. Ama Makobura, wewe vipi? Maoni yako vipi? Pole na asante.
I think that's a luxurious style of living that should only be left for those wale ambao already wakikosa kwenda mahali,
Eh,
labda they have some savings that they would still comfortably
eh,
use.
okay. Uh, uh,
Yeah, so I don't oppose that. I think it's a good thing for
mhm,
people to find time and re-energize or to meet friends or
yeah.
kutoa stress. It's not a bad thing, but I think
Eh.
mm, this is the right time for everything.
So,
And to me,
yeah.
it's not it's not a solution to my problems at this time. So it is. I'm not thinking in that direction.
Mm. Unajua kupigia mwili asante ama pole si lazima uende kwa sehemu za
Yeah,
kustarehe.
sisemi ni kuenda hata kukunywa pombe ama nini. For
Eh,
example, this evening if maybe I would have passed by a restaurant,
aha.
uh, hiyo inamaanisha ni singekuwa kwa hii show.
Yeah, but unge si lazima tu upitie restaurant. Unaweza enda uchukue kale kanyama kako kakuota, uende upige karange vizuri. Yeah,
kwa,
unasema
kwa,
leo.
kwa
Eh,
nyumba
hata mpaka jirani watajua leo
hiyo
huyu ni kama mtu leo amelipwa.
hiyo nani, that is normal. I'm saying this one of going to, you know, maybe you're from work and then you decide to pass by somewhere with friends to
Eh,
just refresh yourself.
mhm.
That is the one that I was having a different opinion. I'm saying that as much as it is important and good for us,
Yeah.
it, on my side, the timelines that I have
Mhm.
cannot allow me to pass by somewhere. But if it is a matter of kununua kakwota kwenda kupika,
Mm.
hiyo naye sitalegeza kamba. Hiyo inawezekana wakati wowote, na hata Judith hapa kama ana if she can Let me not say that. Judith, long time. We've not seen. Yesterday I didn't see you.
Eh,
I can also see Silas Odhiambo.
Odhiambo from
Yule mwenzetu wa Kerere.
huyo ni Silas Odhiambo all the way from where? Where is Silas coming from?
All the way from Kisumu County, Nyakach constituency, Nyabondo Plateau.
Nyabondo Plateau. A
A
very,
man,
very um,
a man of few words,
and
and nisiendelee mbele.
a man of Nyadhi. You know, like do you know Nyadhi? Nyadhi,
Yeah,
Nyadhi. Nyadhi is what? What is Nyadhi?
a man of pride.
No,
I would
Nyadhi
say
is
so.
not right.
Uh, how do you translate that?
A man of styles.
A man of styles. Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah.
Thank you, Miguda. Yeah, that's the man of the. Okay, thank you, gentlemen. Today is we just want to go at least to share our views on the pressure that CS Muturi today had, especially at Sito Mushari, where the bodies of um, abducted Mlolongo 3, two of them, you know, at the city mortuary, the bodies were found in the city mortuary after 45 days. So Muturi was there. But when he was there, there are some kind of words that or pronouncement that he made that I want to know, share your views. Patrick Chepkwon, Patrick
Uh,
amesemaje? Ero,
Patrick Chepkwad
ero kamano team.
is also one of the comrades, a very gentleman. He's a gentleman,
Eh,
a man from Kericho County.
thank you so much,
Thank you
Mr.
so much, Patrick,
Patrick
for joining.
Chepkwon, for joining. We really, really appreciate your presence. And you say Yero Kamano, Yero Kamana Inya. So, gentlemen, today I hope all of you had the chance to listen or to watch um, JB Muturi today. And I want to get your views before we go into details. Some of the issues that I picked from that conversation today. Makubura, what is your thought on Muturi, especially concerning the abductions?
Okay, thank you. I was passing a message to my good friend Miguda here, and it seems like he's sleeping. So I'll just go direct to the question that you've asked.
Yeah,
I saw the presser by CS Muturi. I
yeah,
think it was very categorical, and I can I can admit that uh, what I mean that courage that he took to come out to speak about the four. Actually, there are four. They are not three. There are
oh, that's
four.
all. Okay.
Three of them were abducted the same day, and then one who was also their friend was taken the following day. I
Mm.
mean, the day after the three were abducted. I want to concur with the sentiments of CS Muturi and also um, Honorable, what is his name? I'm forgetting.
Dan Manzo?
Dan Manzo, a very close, a close ally of Kalonzo Musyoka. I think it is what they did was a good thing. Going out to share or to encourage the bereaved and to also try follow up on what really happened. I think it has been so painful for those families,
Yeah,
losing young men, especially when there is nothing that is really there that you can say that this man was sick. Someone just was abducted, and then after some days they have disappeared. And then something else that is so painful in all this is these people abducted, and then after the same week, their families were looking for them everywhere. They even went to the city mortuary,
yeah.
and their bodies were not actually found there.
Hmm.
And so I was actually going through social media, and then I saw the comment of the senator of Nairobi. He's also saying that it could be that
Yeah.
the leadership of City Mortuary is also collaborating with the abductors.
Mm.
Because how possible was it that these people abducted, and according to the City Mortuary, they were taken there the following day or after 2 days, the same week that they were abducted,
Mm.
the bodies were reported there. And so what we don't understand is how comes their family went that same week and they're
Yeah.
saying that they were there and they did not see the bodies. They are actually giving that the information reached the family when the court had ordered the IG and the DPP boss to appear
Yeah.
before the courts. That is when they were told that the bodies are here. It is
Yeah.
so painful that these families had to take, like, it had to go this long for them to get to know what really happened to their beloved ones. And again, in this era, life is a precious thing. It's a gift that is given only by God, and it is something that once you get it and then it goes, you can never recover. What we are asking for as a people, just as to echo the comments of the cabinet secretary and the senator, we need to know the truth of what happened. We need to know the exact people who abducted these people. It is so unfair for a government that is responsible for taking care of the lives of the people, the properties of the people, to just take this lightly. And there are security measures, security apparatus that are at their disposal. They can use them to get to understand in depth what really happened to this gentleman. It is so unfortunate that a country that needs to protect its youth is allowing them to be abducted and to be killed in a manner that is not really in a brutal manner, a manner that people are really condemning in the whole country. In this time and era, and with the fight that Kenya is trying to make in the whole world, with the empathy that Kenya is trying to show, in solidarity with other countries like the DRC, it
Okay.
is so unfair that within our country we are still abducting our own children and killing them without no good reason, even without taking them through the due process that is prescribed for in the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya.
Thank you so much, Makobura, for that. And let me take this opportunity to welcome Linda Kanini. Linda, we've not been seeing you ever since we started this year, but the year is still new. I hope you had a very good year 2025 and you are doing fine. Just let us know how you're doing, and we will very, very, very much appreciate to know that you're doing well. Miguda, before we come into the snippets, I would call it, or the synopsis of Muturi's speeches. In summary, I mean, what is your whole take on the whole idea of what Muturi was speaking about today?
My take on what Muturi was talking about today, Muturi had two issues.
Mhm,
Talked about extrajudicial killings.
mhm,
He also talked about abduction. And Muturi specifically attacked Mr. President for the second time now. The other time he attacked the president during the statement which he recorded at the DCI court.
yeah.
But today he said that you heard me when I was recording a statement. I said that Mr. President, I called him. We were with him and he called Nordin Aji. And Nordin Aji released my son. So I'm still calling Mr. President because the buck stopped with the government. It is the government who is doing abduction. And
Mhm,
Mr. President, I'm calling you out to stop. And he introduced two measures to be taken with Mr. President. He introduced that Mr. President should put an inquiry committee, look at the extrajudicial killings and abduction. At the same time, he also requested Mr. President to have a task force
yeah.
to look at that thing because he said that he will not keep quiet because he's in the government. So he's one of the leaders in the government
Mhm,
and he's pointing all fingers to Mr. President. He's directing all words to Mr. President. Mr. President, you are responsible, and now it's up to you to either inquire or put a task force to end these abductions one and for all.
Okay, thank you so much. On the inquiries, we know for a fact that this country of ours have had so many inquiries and so many committees, but at the end of the day, after the report, we usually don't see any implementation or we don't see any action being taken. So we don't know whether if President agrees to advice from Muturi, he will do that, and what action will be taken for the perpetrators of abduction of young Kenyans and who are killing them. So we are waiting for President. So to begin with, especially what Muturi said, one of the quotes that I would pick is about this is one. Mr. President, I'm calling upon you to take decisive action to end this abduction and extrajudicial killing as you promised. We must also investigate why this is happening. We cannot allow this to become the norm. Young lives are being taken away and it must stop. I quote. That is what Justin Muturi said to the president. Is calling out. Is this is to me? I feel like it's is addressing Mr. President on this, and it's not the first time that uh, the issue of abduction is being mentioned or is being talked about. So many organizations, so many Kenyans, so many podcasts, people are doing podcasts the way we're doing, so many networks have called out on, especially the government, to find a way or to give the reason or to protect the citizen, because that is also what the constitutions, I mean, required of any government to take care of its citizen. But seemingly things are still happening. Maybe the government is missing it in a way, or there's a problem somewhere with the security apparatus. But now Muturi is talking to president directly. This statement that Muturi has made, among other statements, do you think is justified, Mr. Makobura?
I'm not I'm not really going to focus on the political side of it.
Yeah,
Uh,
let's not get out of the politics.
yeah, but I'm going to focus on the reality on the ground. I think it is right to note and to admit the fact that we've been seeing abductions in the country. It is right again to admit the fact that people have been abducted with no good reason, and some of them, majority of them, actually been killed. And again, the police or the people in the security sector, we've expected them to at least give us some information about what has really happened to these people who have been abducted in daylight, and we ended up finding their bodies, you know, and this is something that is not good as a country. Remember, during the campaigns of the president William Samoei Arap Ruto, before he became the president, he understood the fact that there were abductions in the last government, and among uh, the promises he gave the people of Kenya, he said that in my government, abductions and killings will never be seen. It is so unfortunate that in 2 years of his government, we've seen more killings, we've seen more abductions, more than what we saw in the entire period of the last government, 10 years. And this is something which is very alarming. This is a threat to the human race. It is a threat to the rights of the humanity in the entire world, not just in Kenya. We need to actually combine hands and accept the fact that Muturi, being part of that government, also went through the same when his son was abducted. Most people are trying to contradict or to have a different opinion or analysis on his comments, but me, I want to support the move that he has taken, because it is not for the weak. You know, being in those positions again and what you are needed to do, and also remember the government that you are dealing with, getting that courage to come out to speak about a problem that you are facing and that the country is facing, it's not an easy thing. It was right for them for the cabinet secretary Muturi to come out and object. People went against the rights of his son by abducting him. And the question that we are asking ourselves today is if the son of Muturi, who has been the leader of the parliament for 2 terms, JB Muturi, who has been the Attorney General of the Republic of Kenya, if he's still a cabinet secretary in the ruling government, if he can go through the same thing just by, but I mean, what he mentioned in his comments, he said very well that if at least him he has connection and he has the number of the president, he reached out and at least he saw something. What about these people? What about Mama Mboga? What about watu wa mkokoteni, wale wa biashara ndogo ndogo, wale ambao waliambiwa ya kwamba this government belongs to you, they don't have the access of even a chief? How are they going to survive? The children would be abducted and to be killed like kama wanauliwa kama kuku. These are lives, whether it is the son of cabinet secretary or the son of president or the son of Mama Mboga, life is life. These people, sisi wote tuko na damu, we've got the heart, we've got all the organs. So let us not assume, and let us not allow this government watese watoto wa wale wako chini in the name of there's no one who is going to fight for them. If a child of cabinet secretary or the AG would be taken through this thing that we are seeing the Mlolongo guys have been taken through, would we be what would we be seeing in this government or in this country? So it is so unfortunate that this government is actually killing, or this government is finishing those people who are low in the society. That is the truth of the matter, and it is something that we have to come out clear as a people and direct all these things to the president and the responsible uh, department, and they should know that if this continues, then the only thing that they will do is to abduct all of us.
Okay, thank you so much. And let me check this opportunity also. This is what Linda say. Udinade, wadi maber. Let me say that in Kijaluo. Thank you so much for asking. Welcome also our good friend Peter Kimani, and thank you so much for joining. And this is what Peter Kimani says. Muturi is right. He was sitting in the NSC and has more information about.
That's National Security Council.
Yes. During campaign, Muturi stated that abduction and extrajudicial will never happen. It is not part of KK government policy. Thank you so much, and I hope Peter Kimani, you're doing fine. Miguda, the second one that I would want, and I want you to weigh your thought on, and this is I quote what Muturi said in his speech again. If we are abducting and killing the young ones, who are we building the economy for? Who is this economy being built for? If this economy is built for the young people to come and work, and the Muturi is saying, if we are abducting the young men, who are we building this economy for, and who is this economy going to work for? That is what, according to CS Muturi.
That's a valid question from CS Muturi, and I agree with him concerning that question. Because if you are abducting, initially it used to be abduction, and the people were being released alive. People used to come alive, but currently what we are experiencing is now more of a extrajudicial killing, because people are being found dead after abduction. We are no longer safe, and we don't know what next. What if they abduct me today? How sure are you that I can come out alive or dead? Because now it's not clear. Initially, it was clear that they will abduct you and they will release you alive. But currently, the previous people they have abducted have been found dead, and their corpse has been deposited at city morgue. In my view, Muturi is speaking the truth, because as an head of state or as a state officer, you are democratically elected to represent the people. Actually, the people elected you. And these people have some contract with you. They expect you to transform the country economically, and other things. That's why Muturi was saying that. Why are you talking about economy? We're talking about how you're going to transform economy, how you are pumping money into economy, how you are settling the debts of the people, how you are clearing the pending bills. For who? Because the people, not the humanity, are not there. You should do this thing for the sake of the people. And remember, it's the role of the government to protect the citizens. And if you cannot protect that money, that's now where the international laws come in and play, whereby if a state or a government has failed to protect the rights of its citizen, because you have all the capacity to make sure that you protect the rights of the humanity within your territorial state. But if you fail, whereby you are in charge, but the humanity in your country are being abducted, some are being released alive, but they have gone under some torture. Some are being released dead. The corpses are being found in the mortuary. It's a clear indication that you do not have the capacity to represent the same humanity, because the question we are asking here, that why do you want to represent the humanity?
Yeah.
And this humanity are no more. You should represent even a humanity who is there, because you can't purport to be the president, but the people you are presiding over are not there. You preside over people, a population. And the part of it is sorrow. If the CS son was released, because there were some phone calls, and he said clearly today, he repeated it. If you could have played that clip here, our viewers could have watched. Muturi stated categorically that he was with Mr. President, who called the NIS boss,
Yeah.
and his son was released. It means that Muturi is very confident that the person who is responsible for these abductions and this religious killing is the government, and he directly point to Mr. Ruto. That's why if you want to argue it politically, you can lose the point. And the Muturi is confident when I say that he's currently is like he's sabotaging the government within. But I don't want to say he is sabotaging. I want to say that he has refused to take the stand of the executive. He has deviated from the executive.
Okay, before you continue, I want. There's what we call patriotism. Yeah, you're working with the government, and you have, as we know, this is a KK administration. Then we have the government or Republic of Kenya, and the constitution allow you to respect or to work for your country. Is it? So there's that element of patriotism and patriotism and allegiance to your country, and there's that also allegiance to the your political party or who has given you employment. So where do you categorize Muturi?
Muturi, of course, all of us has paid an allegiance to the president. All of us, no one. Of course, he's the head of state. We have
Yeah.
only one head of state, one president. So we have all paid our allegiance to Mr. William Ruto. That's
Yeah.
a fact. But other than paying allegiance to the government of the state, also you have a duty as a law-abiding citizen to be patriotic. You must love your nation.
Yeah.
Because a nation composed of the people, the population in it, and you cannot see your population being abducted or being registered as corpse in the morgue, then you are quiet. It is contrary to, as a public officer, what is more important here? CS Muturi is a public officer.
Yeah.
And you are privy to the information. It is your duty to come out and disclose the information to the public. And that's exactly what Muturi has done. And if at all the allegations against Mr. President are true, according to Muturi,
Yeah.
then the people will support him and he can continue to expose more.
Okay, thank you so much. And Peter Kimani, I say, I'm good, bro. Nice to hear that. Mr. Ayaga, thank you so much for joining. Muturi is a three-term MP, speak for 10 years, AG for 2 years. That's why Ruto blocked his impeachment. It's going to be worse. In terms of politics, it might be worse, but we are looking at as a country that people believe in, and this is happening and is coming from somebody who is working in government. And there's also another very, very, very good one that I would read for you. And this one concerning about the efforts that maybe the head of state has put on, especially when it comes to Congo. And This is what Muturi says. We are allowing young boys and girls to be kidnapped only to be found killed. What kind of a country are we? Yet we are pretending to be solving the issues of DRC. That is what the president, as we know, president has been making those phone calls. Remember, even yesterday I was watching another interview show in South Africa. I don't know whether you watched it. Miguda, did you watch it?
Interview from?
In South Africa, where they were saying how the president called the French um, president, yet they was claiming that the French president has lost influence, especially in West Africa, and they're saying this was an African issue. This is an African. There was no need for him to call the French government. It was a bit an African. I don't know whether you watched that interview. I think it was in SMBC, yeah, something of the sort. So it's talking about, yet we are pretending to be solving the issues in the DRC, yet our country having issues. Because like the only person who is solving, who is so much connected with the DRC is the president, the former president, and the current president. What is your take on that, Mr. Makobura?
Yeah, the political differences that we've been seeing are caused, of course, by the, I would say, personal interest of the politicians.
Yeah.
And it's, they always say that when the elephants are fighting, it is the grass. Ni grass ama watu wadogo ndo wanaumia. So above all, we are seeing this big political class are fighting, and what the outcome of it, of course, are the abductions, the killings, uh, the widening. They're also trying to preach the tribalism part, and these are things which are not really helping us as a country, but instead they're just causing more problems to the normal wananchi.
So
But
because
politicians.
okay, so can you just look it in the context of, we are looking at what is happening in Congo and the effort maybe the president is putting on effort, or any other effort as a country that is being channeled towards the DRC, yet in the country we cannot put the same effort, or we cannot give it the same energy and the same effort. That is, that's I think where Muturi was arguing his points.
Yeah, I'm coming to that. So just trying to give examples on, for example, what we've been seeing in the country.
Yeah.
Whenever things are not really working well for the wananchi, whenever the political class are trying to cause the tension, what we've been seeing is massive corruption within the political class. They try to cause some problems on the ground so that what is happening, and then they take that advantage, and then they end up misusing the resources of the people. That is what we are seeing even in DRC. That is what we are seeing. Part of what caused the war or conflict in DRC, the way we explained yesterday, partly is interest of political leaders, interest of businessmen. They don't care what the normal wananchis are going through. All they care is trying to cause confusion, so that in when the confusion is going on, they get a leeway to extract minerals. They want to thrive in that, disunity of the people of DRC. And we are seeing other leaders, political leaders. Whenever you see political leaders, some of them are partly involved, then there's nothing positive that we should expect as a people. What we need to do is to give them pressure so that they withdraw their personal interest at the expense of the wananchi. It is so painful that hundreds of people. I haven't watched what happened today,
Yeah.
but as per yesterday, around 100 people died because of a war that does not really help the normal wananchi, but instead it is a disagreement, or more of it is chaos that is caused by the political class. So I think the political class should just have mercy on the citizens. They should understand the fact that these people also have a life to live, and that any life that is lost, of course, they should try to imagine if it was their relative or their friend or their children, that they would also feel the same pain.
Okay. Miguda, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Makobura. And if you are here for the very first time in Brother Benson Media, kindly subscribe and be part of the family. So if you're having such conversation, you can play part in it by also contributing in the comment section. And also, you can also join us in the studio to weigh your thoughts on what is happening. This is what Erika Yaga Muturi is not a member of NNC. He was replaced with a current AG the moment cabinet was crashed during the Gen Z. Thank you so much for that. Laban Misiani, thank you so much for joining. Kenya is more than the Gen Z. Okay. Ayaga, Ruto is a pretender. Once he mentioned the name of France president, there was a protest in Kinshasa. Ruto withdrew our military because he hosted the Congo in Nairobi. Okay. I say the former. Okay. Thank you so much for your comments. And Laban, I hope you're doing good. Nice to see you on the comment section, and just let us know where you are and how are you doing. You know, me good. If you weigh your thoughts on what Muturi said about we are pretending, because we are not, we are pretending. That's as a country, because when president is speaking, especially when it comes to issues to do with the border conflicts, as also the chair of East Africa, I think so. So, and the president is trying, yet Muturi is saying that in our country we have issues that we are supposed to deal with, especially the abduction, the extrajudicial killing. There's so much that is happening in the country, yet we do not give it such heavy thought, and we don't invest on how we want to make sure that the abductions are ending. Do you agree with what Muturi says, that we should concentrate on the country because the young men and young girls are being killed?
If you don't give it a political look at it,
Yeah, we don't give
then
it politics. We don't want to give it politics because
yeah,
we are
because
still,
if you look at political part of it, you're going to lose the argument.
yeah.
Muturi is very clear that we, the people of the Republic of Kenya,
Mm,
we should not, or the state officers, in my view.
mm,
Muturi is privy to the information because he was the former Attorney General of the Republic of Kenya. It means that during the time he was sitting in the National Security Council, he was privy to some security informations and details. And more so importantly, he had friends there. And when he left, there are some of his friends who remain behind. He might know many things that ordinary Kenyans do not know
yeah.
because he's in the cabinet. He might even understand whether the decision was made unanimously and there was no one supposed to disclose because he's very confident in
Yeah.
his presentation on the press in the media. He's very confident to announce that he's ready even to challenge Mr. President because he said that I'm calling out the government, but specifically Mr. President.
Mm,
Because by the time my son was being held,
yeah.
you came in and rescued my son, and you directly called the news post. In my view, Muturi is just right within his limit because as a patriotic citizen and as a Kenyan person, where this abduction is not only for selective few, it
Yeah.
affects everybody. It affects us. Tomorrow it might be you, tomorrow it might be me, but we're not wishing anybody to be abducted. But any life in this country matters. It doesn't matter. Any life of a Kenyan matter. Any life of humanity matter. If that lives matter, you don't need to destroy it. But there are, I believe also, there are some interests within power, and those interests supersedes people's interests or people's agenda. There are some interests like power. They can ignore about people, and the people are the one who give you power.
Yeah.
So they can decide to do other things which are in contrary to the provisions of the constitution and the
Mhm,
rule of law. And
mhm.
that's why I said that if in case the government is doing whatever they are doing alleged by CS Muturi, then it's the right time for the international bodies to come in and protect the rights of the humanity currently now. And we don't need to lose humanity the way humanity are being killed in Congo. That is not good. Humanity should live And we should not abduct our own citizens and register them as cops in the morgue because of political power or because of some interest that supersedes people's right. Let us respect the people's right. Let us respect civil and political right of the people. Let us also respect social, economic, and cultural rights of the people. Let us respect people's right because there is no way you're going to transform the country. Now, the question is, after transforming the country, and people are not there. So who have you transformed the country for? You need to transform the country for the people. And I've always said this. Why are these people afraid of the people or young people? These young people are not armed. They cannot invade you. They cannot come to to your protected areas or where you are secure highly. Let them live. Allow them to express their rights, their civil and political rights. Allow them to enjoy their social, economic, and cultural rights without interference because they will not come to you. Like me, the only thing we can do is just walk in the polling station and cast our vote, then you walk out, go back to our home. No one is going to threaten these people. Just let the young people live. Brother Benson, back to you.
Thank you so much, Miguda, because I had you mention something before that. Let me just read what Kenyans are supreme according to Constitution 2010 article. So when Muturi disagreed with Ruto when he was AG because Ruto wanted to do things outside from law and AG advice. Okay, that is your thought. Thank you so much for that. Ayaga is saying the Congo River Alliance is the is the back of the March 2020 third agreement M23. So Ruto is even destroying for Raila Odinga. That is AUC, which is coming very soon. So you spoke about like the international community should come in. Does it mean that we as a country we cannot investigate or do things that are destroying us until the international community comes in? Or what do you mean by that?
By mentioning international community
Yeah,
like Amnesty,
international.
like ICC, they
Mhm.
should come in. The reason why they should come in, I know we have the capacity as a state to conduct our investigations
Yeah,
and to bring those people who are liable into in the due process of the law to face the criminal justice system. We have all that capacity.
yeah.
But now my worry is if that government has failed to carry out that task because they have the duty to protect the rights of the people,
Mhm.
they have a duty to make sure that people live with peace without any interference. But if that government has failed to carry out that task, because these abductions began last year and it
Mhm.
has been a prolonged thing in this country, even during the demonstration, many people abducted. Remember the case of people like Denzel who were killed and thrown in the quarry. It did not end with there. To date, we are in 2025. There are still cases. People are being registered in the mortuary. It means that now we as a country,
Mm.
the government has failed to take its duty. That's why these laws were put deliberately that in case there's a government which has failed to carry out the task
Yeah.
by protecting the rights of people, now international body can come in and protect that. Remember during our time, during those 2007, 2008
Mm.
post-election violence, Kenyans are unanimously in the assembly that in the parliament by then that let us go to Hague because we cannot solve our issues internally.
Mm.
And they came in, and you understand how that process went, the ICC case, whereby later all of them were acquitted. But we are regretting to date because you remember the victims were never compensated to date, though the suspects were set free and the victims were never compensated to date. That's what we are saying. That's how I was bringing my argument that if at all we have failed as a state to take care of the citizens or to take care of the rights of the people, because it's the duty of the state to take care of your rights and my rights. And if they have failed now because people are being abducted left, right, and center, and people are being found, some are found alive, some are found dead, it means that let us now call the international community to come and rescue us in this mess. Maybe they can do investigation, and the suspect can be brought to be charged in the relevant authority. and I think it can come to stop, other than this issue of inquiry and task force. Because remember, in this country, we have what is called BJRC report, Truth, Justice, and Reconciliation Commission report. To date, it has
Yeah.
not been implemented. If it has not been implemented to date, and we have the dispensation of the new Constitution 2010, and that thing came earlier before 2010 Constitution, it hasn't been implemented to date. It means that even this inquiry or task force
Yeah.
will not bear any fruit. That's why we still insist that let this thing end, or we invite those people who are above us now to take care of it.
Okay, thank you so much. And now, despite everything that Muturi said, there's what we call accountability and transparency. And in each and every state officer that you've been given the mandate by the Kenyan people, because you are employed by Kenyan people to serve Kenyans. And in your capacity as a state officer, you took the oath to serve the people of Kenya and the Kenya as a country. Mi- Miwakubura talked of something that is very important about what Sifuna said, and I can quote Sifuna here. And now we have to go to the city mortuary, and they have to give us accountability and transparency. When did they receive this body? Because that is always there. And what was the cause of death? This is what Sifuna says. This I quote, Nairobi City Mortuary, its management, and the county of, let me start. This is what Sifuna says. Nairobi City Mortuary, its management, and the county government are complicit in the abduction and killing of Kenyans. How is it the bodies of the men from Lolongo have been there since December 18, and when family visited the facility, they could not find them? It is clear that the management is in cahoots with the abductors and must be held to account. Yes, I agree with Sifuna 100% because when any casualty or there's a death of somebody who has died is taken to the mortuary, there must be a register when and who brought the body. That is something, and that's come. And after the families coming day in and day out, they could not still found the body, and later they're told that the body has been found. That's called for accountability and transparency. And who now should be held responsible for that? Should we hold the Nairobi, the government of Sakaja himself, or the people who are working in the morgue?
First, when a baby, when a corpse is registered, even me, I've registered a corpse once of my relatives. When you go to morgue to register corpse, you leave your details, your ID number, your
Yeah.
phone number, your name, then the name of the deceased. That is how you register corpse in the morgue. So if any case there is any investigation that who registered this corpse, or because you cannot deposit a corpse in a morgue without registration. There's no way, even if the police has gone to deposit a corpse in the morgue, there must be a register. For that, we have the police officers from certain police station,
Yeah.
and we are the so and so. We were on the patrol, and we found this corpse dead by the roadside. Now we brought it to be registered at the morgue. That is how records are being taken, and that's the importance of taking records everywhere. I believe that the duty now for the county government
Yeah.
to come in and ensure that because city mortuary that is operational by the county government. If you go to the Nairobi Funeral Home,
Mhm.
and when you go to Nairobi Funeral Home, there are officers of the county, and when you visit the morgue, you can find those. Actually, it is common sense that there's no way you can deposit a corpse in a morgue without registration. So I don't need to argue much over that. Those people who brought those corpses should be questioned where they got them, and how the postmortem should be done, and we should get the result from the pathologist, and they should be clear to Kenyans. Those are simple things that Kenya must understand. Once Kenyans understand those things, then I think the story will end from there.
Okay, Ayaga is saying this. The killer of Musando, Jacob Juma Ouko Morara Odi Morara Odiam Morara Odiambo Morara Odiambo by no one was arrested. So it is a government, even though the government even now the police isn't aware that the killer squad is more than a police. Okay, that is one. But Makobura, we are talking about accountability and the transparency, especially in a country. Does it mean that the the relevant authorities does not know that this is happening, because some of the abduction were captured on the CCTV? We saw someone, yeah, they are going around on social media, and we have forensic lab, especially one of the best forensic lab in DCI headquarters. um why did it take so long? Even up to now, as we speak today, nobody knows that who is abducting Kenyans. Even, like, you remember the police were saying they do not know who is abducting Kenyans. you know what is happening? Where are the lapses? Where do we find the lapses at?
Uh, okay, thank you. I think I can say that what happened was well calculated, and I can also say that we cannot. We have to accept the fact that the relevant security apparatus or those who are concerned, they were fully aware of this, because we've seen them capturing or arresting people who have committed very serious or even non-serious criminal activities, because they have all everything that they need. They have the most recent, you know, equipments that can help them in the head of, getting to know or to unravel or to get to understand the whole thing that happened. So the reason why we've not seen any serious investigation, the reason why we've not seen any serious comment from the government side, I would say that maybe the government is fully aware of what is happening. Maybe they know how these things were planned, because of the conflicting information that they've been giving. You remember the other time the DCI in the relevant security authorities were called in, and they were giving conflicting information, and the question that we are asking is, why were they, how comes we got the information about the abductees bodies being in different places the day that they were summoned to give a clarification whether they knew about the abducted cases? And something else is, how comes after these gentlemen were abducted, their families raised alarm, and the information was spread through the social media, and it was on the nation, I mean, everywhere. We remember the families going to different morgues. We remember them being captured in city mortuary, and the question we're asking ourselves is, they, you know, they were saying that these bodies were, one of the body was reported on 18th. Was it 18th or 20 something? And those were the days that the families were camping on that place. The question we're asking is, how comes? Because that death actually happened in 1 week. Was it, how difficult was it for these people to acknowledge, I mean, to know that this is our brother, this is our son, within 1 week? So there's a game that is being played here that we need to understand as a people, and the government need to become out very clear. And then the questions against that we are also asking ourselves is, the government of county government of Nairobi, they also need to clarify, people who are responsible in the management of this hospital. They also need to clarify and come out and, tell the people of Kenya if they know anything that we need to know, because it is so unfortunate that the citizens of the Republic of Kenya are being abducted and killed. And City Mortuary, that is one of the morgues in the Republic of Kenya where people who have been found killed, unknown people are taken. The question we're asking ourselves is, does it mean that the bodies then which are there, how difficult is it for these people to even find their families if they have all the machines they were able to identify through the fingerprints? That is well. What about even those people that they are still telling us that they are lying so many bodies lying in that place.
Yeah.
So there need to be clarification on all these things, and matters involving life, I think, is one very important thing that any government that really cares about their citizen, a government that cares for the youth. It's so unfortunate that these deaths, uh, I mean, those who were killed, or these gentlemen, they were still youths, meaning they have wives that they've left behind. They've got kids that they've left behind. Who is going to take care of these kids? Who is going to take care of these families?
Yeah.
These gentlemen were doing businesses, supporting their families. That void, the government is telling us that we create job for our own. If we try, find our ways of taking care of our families, and then the breadwinners are also being killed,
Mhm.
this, you are rendering families hopeless, and we need to solve this as a country. That is my take.
Okay, good. Thank you so much, Makobura. I want to look at it in this perspective, and maybe I want also to get your view, because in areas where the three arms of government is working, a case like abduction that has been happening, um, the parliament through their committees, they've been given the mandate and the powers by the constitution to investigate some of this happening. We've not seen parliament even calling emergency meeting to discuss issues on abduction on the street, you know. And like it is just normal for the leaders, none of them. And if you look at even the leaders or the legislators, they have divided opinion. There are those who are condemning abduction and saying, okay, there are some kids on the internet that do not have moral values, that they should be taught moral values by their children. Yet, those children that should be taught the no moral values and people who are being abducted, they are losing their lives. So, if you are telling us to teach them the morals and they're dying, how will you teach the dead people moral? That is one. Then, secondly, what is the role of the parliament now?
I'll just discuss the role of the parliament and also the issue of the arms of government.
Yeah.
The issue of moral, I think that's now left to, that's an individual volition.
Yeah.
People, even those people who are telling that love moral, if you look at them very well from their past utterances,
Yeah.
and also even them, they have kids, but their kids are also, wow, we mingle as young people. We have met their kids somewhere. So anyway, the parliament, in my view, the parliament has failed us, and you have bring a very, very essential question, because parliament has a duty, the way you have stated clearly. There are some committees in parliament. There is even Justice and Legal Affairs Committee. They should convene as parliament to discuss what's currently happening in the country, because parliament is a house of representation.
Yeah.
The people are being represented there. When people are elected to go to parliament represent people, they can convene those special sitting to discuss this issue and bring it to an end. And it's very unfortunate that our parliament can convene special sitting to approve the name of a deputy president nominated by the president, but they cannot convene a special meeting to discuss this issue of abduction. It's very ridiculous, and that's why Gashaba called them is a house of theater. I don't know how you call the outside of theater.
No, forget about even for the one for deputy president. We just had in the month of February, we had the confirmation of the CSS that were appointed. They could come in large numbers to approve these appointments.
They can convene special meeting. Remember, our parliaments don't work on Friday.
Yeah.
But they can convene a special sitting on Friday, early in the morning, just to go and discuss those newly appointed players and also newly nominated deputy president. But this is an issue critical, the humanity, the loss of the humanity life, because the reason why we are condemning this issue, you cannot get back that life once it's gone. It is gone forever. You cannot retrieve that life back. Therefore, you should protect it by all means. That's why even if someone is criminal and their procedure, you take a criminal through the process of criminal justice until you convict that person. Either you can put him for rehabilitation, or you can put him for restoration, whatever. But don't take that life of that person. That's why even the death penalty are being abolished in the 21st centuries. democratic states, that life should not be taken, because retrieving it is not, you can't retrieve life. Once it is gone, it's gone. Our parliament has failed us because they are last hope for the people of Kenya, because that is a house of representation. And people no longer have faith in parliament because there have been says that parliament has been compromised. Other than parliament has been compromised, therefore judiciary has been a hope for the people. But currently the judiciary is being fought, and we have understand what is happening. The apex court, that the Supreme Court, whereby the current Chief Justice is being fought left, right, and center. And this is all about political interest, but the parliament should have come out to protect the people, because they represent the people. Because even the members of parliament, these people who are being abducted, who are being killed, and also who are being released alive, there are some of them coming from their constituents. They should protect the right of their constituents, because that is one of the duties of them, to represent the interests of people. When people are having a freedom of expression, like those young people, they should be led to do so, because even our politicians, they use the same platform to express their agenda. They use the same platform to express how the work is going on. Remember, during these tours, if you follow X space, our president is on X. Most of members of parliament are on X. Our governors are on X. Members of the judiciary, they are on X space. And while they're on X space, they are free to express whatever they're doing. But if you try to express what you are doing, they're coming for you. That is now not governing, and that is now not what we call democratic state, or that is not a constitutional democracy state. We just need to let people air their views. People have different opinions. You can disagree, it doesn't matter. It should not lead to death. Let it be a fair competition, whereby I disagree with you, disagree with me, then let the best person win. Then we push the country forward, because most importantly is the interest of the country and the people in it. This issue, because I fail to understand these things going on, because currently the president is William Ruto. You cannot change it. He's the president. He's the head of state. He's the head of government. He presides on behalf of Kenyans until 2027. Let him be comfortable. There's no worry here. No one is going to chase him away. Then let him go back to the people 2027 and also seek re-election. People might elect him, or people might elect another person. It should not be to this far end, whereby people are going far to this extent. At all, if those allegations by JB Muturi are true, it should not lead here.
Okay, thank you. Maybe away from that, let's. I want to hear your take on what has also been discussed by many people. The issue of Raila and his quest for the AUC seat. People are saying that the war in DRC and the stand of Kenyan president can somehow affect his support in the next few months. What is your take on that, and how do you think that is going to affect his bid for the AUC seat? What's your final remarks?
In my view, this war in Congo, Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC, not Congo Brazzaville, because Congo Brazzaville is at peace, but DRC, Democratic Republic of Congo, is at war. This war, the people, the M23 people, these are pro-people army, pro-region army, where they're coming from. If you go to eastern part of Congo, and recently they captured Goma. And Goma form part of the East African Congo. You'll find that the majority of the people living there are the Tutsi. These Tutsi, they border Rwanda, and they are saying that they are part and parcel of Rwanda. It's only the colonial boundary which has affected them, has put them towards Congo, but they were supposed to be in Rwanda. And these colonial boundaries were established by those Western people during the Berlin Conference. And Africans were never consulted. They never understand how the structure of African is. That's why they ended up with those boundaries. And that's why the Tutsi remain in Congo. But there are reasons why I can say this is a pro-people army. I don't see a scenario where a pro-people army is going to affect the election of Raila in AUC. Let us not try to now to say other things like this war was there even before AUC elections. This war has been there, and there was been there even Kenyan.
Okay, let me clarify why I asked you that. Remember, the South African president and Paul Kagame, the president of Rwanda, have had issues. And remember, the SADC, that is the southern countries, are now seen as also having interest in the war that is, going on in Rwanda. So there's this. Remember, when there's a war in a country, of course, there are countries that normally support the countries. Like, let's say, DRC. Of course, there are African countries which are standing with DRC, but again, there are also African countries which are standing with Rwanda, and that difference in the stand and support of different countries is what is being seen. For example, in this case, remember, the president of DRC is a good friend to Raila himself, and also is a friend to the Republic of Kenya. Remember again, the president of Rwanda is also a friend to the Republic of Kenya. And so there's these narratives that Raila seems to be too close to the president of DRC than the president of Rwanda. And, Ruto, the president, is the chair of the East African community. And you remember the day that they called for a meeting, the president of DRC did not appear. And so this kind of mixed reactions that people are having based on the stand and the role of the president of Kenya and his role again on trying to convince the heads of state to support the Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga. Maybe you can give us your analysis in that perspective.
On that perspective, in my own analysis, I remember South Africans deployed their military into DRC, and some of them were killed. Actually, nine of them were killed, and they are not relenting. They are still maintaining that their soldiers will be in the DRC, and their soldiers are still there. Some of them, but Kenyan soldiers have gone there as a United Nations army. They have been there as a UN on a mission to restore peace in DRC. They have come there as a United Nations army. And South Africans are not there as a United Nations army. They are there as a state army. The way you have said that some countries are supporting the war, some are not supporting within the Africa. And the war, there can be many interests, because you understand right now that the eastern part of Congo got some lucrative minerals. Like, I understand that even there is uranium. And you understand that the uranium work is to make sure that you make nuclear weapons and drones, and also you can make car batteries. And that is where the world is going to. That's where we are heading to. So that is the mineral of the future world. And there can be even a sponsor country outside Africa who can sponsor South African soldiers into that land. And the position of William Ruto in the East African community as the chairperson, you understand that even it formed part of the Eastern Africa, Rwanda, and the relationship between William Ruto and the relationship between Tshisekedi and Kenya. These people, if they support Raila and South Africa, maybe besides SADC that we don't support Raila, it can affect Raila's candidacy in one way or the other. But we understand that it is not a life, it's not a do or die. Raila, if it was meant for him to win the AUC, then definitely he will win. But if it was not meant for him, then we'll just accept and asikubali kushindwa si mshindani. Makubwa, that's a bit detailed, because those elections are on they are going to be secret ballot, whereby even someone can propose you, like he said that Museveni is going to propose him. But when it comes to secret ballot, you will not know who voted for you and who did not vote for you. You just wait for the returning officer to declare a winner. We just wish him all the best as an elder, as someone who is aged the country, as someone who has tried so hard for the country during his time in politics, as someone who has tried to fight for multiple democracy. He also tried to fight for a constitution and also freedom. Let him just have his, if it was meant for him, we love it. But if he fails to clinch the AUC, that's not the end of life. There's life even after AUC. Can come back and strategize how they can do other things in the country. But we wish him all the best and we support him fully. And if we pray for him also, if it's the will of God, let him be the AUC chairperson. So at least he can have something to go home as, because he has tried. Someone who has contested for 5 times to be president of the Republic of Kenya. And sometimes he has also argued that his election has been stolen. He has contested on the street. He has contested on the court. He has also contested further, and some people were even taken to ICC because of election in this country. And he has never worked as the president of the Republic of Kenya. You understand also the Jaramogi tried. Jaramogi also did not make it to presidency. Therefore, if you can get the AUC, then it can be good for them as a family, good for him as himself, and also good for his fans, good for the country at large. But let us not limit Raila that is a do or die that he must be a UC chairperson. So it's not a must.
Okay, thank you so much to our viewers. This is Brother Benson Media. We are grateful that you found time to join and to also comment. We really appreciate. If you're new to this channel, kindly like and subscribe. Because if you do so, it is a way of supporting us, and we'll really appreciate. I now want to take this opportunity to just finish the show. Tomorrow is another day. We are hopeful that we'll get time and have a continuous discussion on the same matter. So I'm taking this opportunity to wish you all well. Have a blessed night, a blessed morning, a blessed afternoon, a blessed evening from wherever you are. Thank you so much, and may God bless you. Asanteni sana. See you tomorrow.